we had to go ahead and go with that money, power, respect in honor of the locks and the murder that they committed Tuesday night. I heard the dudes was on the run. Got all of New York looking for them. The detectives, family members of the Dipsets, cousins from down south. Because they murdered the Dipset diplomats. Oh my God.
So the boys had to go and
Both
protect
of his feet in his pants and stood straight up. Gave them dudes the business, man. That was real hip hop. That was for the culture. It was good, man. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Did y'all get to see it?
I didn't see it.
I saw it.
I saw it, yeah.
Oh my God. I can't stop watching it. It's crazy. I cannot stop watching it. So what's been going on with everybody this week so far?
Big things popping, little things stopping.
Good things stopping. Excellent.
Well, I will say this. Adrian and I had to go into the school this week. You know, school hadn't started. It's not even time for teachers to be back. But the dedicated teachers we have in Neal Middle School go in for a week.
Plus, they're giving us $1,000.
Start planning. Oh, man, why are you screaming out? This is the second educational school system faux pas, or whatever you want to say. Hey, man, I'm going to have to put a muzzle on you, man. You just screaming stuff out. Don't let them count your chips, man. Keep people out of your pocket.
All night say we was incentivized to go.
Well, I will put it this way. When that got started, it got started with me and Covenant. It was an idea I had. Spoke to him about it. Teachers used to come for free. Then some other people got muddled up in there and started throwing money around. I don't know why, but you know, we could have thrown that towards some laptops.
No, on the real, definitely a great idea, man. You know.
Yeah, we just get a head start. Teachers come in.
Right.
They get their planning done. Yeah, they start planning. They can get that planning done and have basically the whole first semester taken care of. They do it right.
Oh, that's nice.
So then when they start doing their PLC, they're just trying to clean up what they may have missed or didn't hit on target, and then starting to go into second semester. So it works out fine, man. I mean,
definitely a great idea, though.
You know, pretty good. We like it. Mr. Now, what's happening with y'all in school in DC? What's going on?
Not much. We start back on the 20th, so I got about 2.5, 3 more weeks, and just kind of preparing myself. So I am doing absolutely nothing.
Hot girl summer. Peloton summer.
Cougar summer. Right.
Cougar summer?
Cougar summer, not hot girl.
Hot cougar summer. Hot cougar.
Man, I saw the pictures from that picnic you was at. I was like, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, she was all over the place. She is the ooh virus.
Whatever. That was last week in DC.
Spreading it all around. Celine, y'all back at school at Central, man?
Nah, you know, we just got out summer session 2. We actually start back August 16th.
So what y'all think? You think we're gonna have homecoming, man?
Yes. Speak positively.
I like that positivity.
Yes.
All night. I like your being positive.
I'm a defer, and I'm gonna not say nothing if I can't say nothing good.
Oh yeah, okay.
Lord, come on, man. I need some positive energy.
I need some positive energy too, but we at the back end of homecoming season. That's
I got the DJ for my people, man. I got the
That's the best. It's a snowball rolling now, though.
I want to supply the party atmosphere. It's been a whole year since it's happened, and but I don't know what's gonna happen. Well, look, tonight we have a very special person with us, Miss Ashley Charleston. She used to work at Southern High School with me for a time period, and then just like Miss Janai, she saw that North Carolina pay won't popping. Pay ain't popping. North Carolina got that P double. Pay ain't popping. So we had to leave out. She's done a book, and we'll get into that a little bit. But I'm gonna let Ashley tell you who she is, what she likes, where she's from, where she went to college, all that good stuff, and then we'll get into it. Without further ado, Miss Ashley Charleston.
All right. Well, thank you all for having me on the show. It's always good to see Biggs. We go way, 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 way back. Let me say some of them ways because I'm gonna tell my age. But I see a lot of Central grads on here, but I gotta represent for the Aggies. I got my master's degree at North Carolina A&T. Put them eagle wings away, brother. It's all about that Aggie pride, that blue and gold, the blue
I'm
and
so
Go
I'm
gold.
ahead,
so
Janai. You can
torn.
join in, Janai. Go ahead.
I'm
We know
so
you
I
want to.
torn.
Go ahead.
mean,
Go
it's
ahead,
Aggie
Janai.
blood.
I appreciate you, sis. I appreciate you, sis. But it's all love, though. If you went to a HBCU, you're all right with me. But I went to North Carolina A&T. Like Big said, I got my start at Southern High School. That's actually the first school I've ever taught at. I found my way right now. I'm teaching at a school in Harlem, New York. It was sad to see the Dipset go out like that, but like it was said earlier, it was for the culture. The Lock did they thing, so it was all right with me.
The dips sound like they needed to be in your class.
Look, come on now.
They be taking
Come on now. I'm taking some reading, getting that ELA together, all the way together.
some
You know,
memorization.
all the way
Know the
together.
lyrics. Did they write
You
the
know,
words?
I don't think so. There's a whole lot of words that didn't make no sense,
Well,
man.
hey, and I don't mean to chop it up. I like Cameron. Cameron, I liked all his music when it was coming along, but I think Cameron slid one in on us. He was hitting us with a lot of ooey ooey, dooey dooey. This meat is chewy chewy.
Yeah, a lot of them nursery rhymes. That's what it
The
sounded
meat
like.
is
It sounded like
chewy
nursery
chewy.
rhymes, child.
Oh, he was buying tapes. What was we doing? We was buying tapes.
We got caught up in that pink outfit. It was the pink outfit for us.
Mm.
That's what we cared about. We cared about the fashion.
Yeah, that was crazy. So
That's
tell us
hilarious.
about this book and how did it come about? What is it about?
Okay, well, the book is about my niece Niaja. She is the reason behind the book. It's called Niaja's Beautiful Discovery. The book
Hmm.
is about basically a young girl who has a fear, and she finds a friend who helps her get over that fear.
Okay.
And so the friend is a very unlikely, thing. I won't give the thing away, but it's very unlikely. And one thing I've learned with making the book and talking to adults, we all have that one thing that sometimes you got to talk to. Sometimes you got to speak to it to help you get over it. We know as adults, sometimes it might be, you might have a fear of heights. Sometimes, it might even be going to work every day. You got to talk yourself into getting up and going to that job, and so it helps, even some of my friends, they're like, yeah, I didn't know that, I had to talk to that thing. So I appreciate you making that book. And I'm thinking, you're a big grown adult. I wrote this for kids, but I appreciate you.
Well, I need
You
somebody to
know,
talk my thing with me because I had a conversation with it and it ain't changed.
it ain't changed. Look, but
Yeah,
sometimes, look,
I'm
it's a whole
claustrophobic.
lot of levels to that.
I'm
Brother,
claustrophobic, and I'll tell
brother,
you,
like it's a whole lot of levels to that.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
it's a little deep. I mean, it's just one day I went downtown Durham to get on this elevator. It was an old raggedy building, and I just couldn't step on. So I
look,
really
I
don't
get
do
it.
elevators unless it's a lot of floors. If I go to hotels, I ask for no higher than the third floor because I walk. I don't really do elevators in brand new buildings because they ain't been tested yet, and I don't do elevators in real old rickety buildings because they about worn out. So I try to find a good mid range building, and I'll
What
be
the
happy with
world?
the elevator. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know y'all
But
laughing,
but look,
but
brother, I feel
just
your
saying,
pain though. Look, that's a
just
real
saying.
thing, and I respect that. I really respect that.
I don't really mess with. I don't really mess with. I'm claustrophobic, man. Like really, you're not gonna pack me in nothing.
Mm.
No,
I
it's not
respect that
happening.
though,
Because I got stuck in the elevator one time too. I
and that's
think
where
that's
it
when
comes from.
it happened after that.
There
That's when
we
it happened.
go.
I
But I
respect
didn't
that.
know. I didn't know it was going to affect me. I didn't. I went and I just could not step on the elevator. It was
And
crazy.
one thing I appreciate with this book, I'm having a lot of honest conversations, not only with school age children, but I'm having these same honest conversations with adults. Grown men, grown women. So again, if you got to find somebody that's going to talk you through that thing, then I definitely respect it because we all got
Also,
it. We all
I'm
got that thing.
gonna reveal a lot of myself today. I also
Oh,
don't like mice and snakes. I don't.
mice.
A dude could run up here right now with a gun and I wouldn't even flinch. I would nothing like man, put whatever, man. But if he run up here with a mouse, he can rob me. He can rob me. If he yelling the mouse, ah,
So
ah,
Minnie and Mickey, they take all your money. I hear
yeah,
you.
hey, if you ever, hey, everybody out there, you heard that. If you want to rob me, you need to come with a mouse or a snake.
Mm.
Giving up everything.
Come on, country
Oh my
boy.
goodness.
Snakes.
Yeah,
What?
you come with
Ashley,
a gun, we ain't phasing nothing.
Is your book about facing fears or more so like positive self-talk?
So my book is about facing fears, but a little bit of that positive self-talk. She has some positive affirmations that she gives. Her mother's giving her positive affirmations, and just facing the fear and then using that fear to get over your fear. And that's one thing that I put in the book. And so one thing that I did and I appreciated was, with my niece, it's all about the representation. I wanted her to see herself in color. I wanted her to see herself in real time, because so many times I remember growing up, there wasn't books with people that looked like me. They didn't have my complexion. They didn't have my hair type. They didn't have my facial features. So I told her, I was like, this story will outlive you. You'll be able to see yourself, and this is something that no one can ever, ever take away from you. So, the story is, it's a real story. With the exception of a talking bee, the story is real. Everything that's happened in the book, is real except the talking bee. So I gave you a little bit of just a little bit of it.
What's the age range for the book?
So the age range of the book, I would say, is, birth to about, I would say about third grade. But again, some of my adult friends like, oh, I got something out of it. So I think the story is a little bit for everybody. But if I had somebody I was going to buy it for, third, maybe even fourth grade.
Okay.
Let's write down your line, Janai. Got the kindergartners. Yeah.
And one thing that I've been able to do, like one thing that was good with COVID was the virtual stuff. So I didn't have to leave my school building. I didn't have to leave my home. I was doing virtual reading. So, if you're interested, I'll definitely pop into your classroom via Zoom, Google Hangouts, and was reading to kids. I had kids treat me like I was Beyonce. Oh my God, I never met a real actor before. Oh my God, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, oh my goodness. Have me feeling like a celebrity.
I get that same thing in the halls of Neil. All I get is I get Rick Ross.
I believe it. I believe it.
I get that.
Look, you like them flats? You like them them lemon peppers?
I don't do lemon pepper, but I do eat flats.
Oh, gotcha.
Got some people popping in. Dale Drew said, "What's up, good people?"
Mm-hmm.
Reese Weaver said, "Eagle Pride." Was it Tavana Peoples said, "What's up, DJ all night long?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What up? What up?
Got Tony Austin Mayo saying, "What's up to everybody?" So
Ashley, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What explain to us your process for writing a book? Like, what was the whole process? Like, how did you start?
So the process for writing the book, it was actually pretty interesting. Because, unlike the Dipset, I did write my own stuff. It wasn't like, I was in here just, making sounds and
you was
making,
after that money, power, respect, huh?
I was out here. I do have my own lines. But, I had actually just had surgery, and it was a book. I had always wanted to put a book together. So I was sitting home at my parents' house recovering. And I was just like, I said to my niece, I said, what are you doing? Because she was literally inside the house in the summertime with like a turtleneck on, peeking out the window. And I was like, why are you not outside playing? And she's like, oh, there's bugs out there. And I was just like, okay, why aren't you going outside? She's like, yeah, because I'm like scared. So we started talking, and I told her, I was like, well, write down how you're feeling. And then we started going back and forth, and I started putting words on paper. And then I literally was like making a map. I would put like some words in one spot. Then I'm like, okay, this is going to be the first section. I'll put like a number 1. Put words in another section, number 2. And nobody else could understand the process, but I understood it. Then I would have her put like some other stuff down. And then I'm like, okay, let me begin typing this now. And I literally got everything together, I want to say, in like 30 minutes. And then for about a week's time, I would go back to it. I would have her read it over, like, okay, is this what she wanted to say? Does this make sense? And I started listening to things that she would say. So I would pick up like her authentic language. So it wouldn't be something like, okay, no, this doesn't sound like her. Then, I started listening to like my family members. Like, okay, let me throw my mother in here. And so even like stuff like my niece calls my grandmother, my mother, Nano. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure it says Nano and not grandma, and those types of things. And so something that would have taken me, I want to say, a month's time, literally took me a week, because I was just like, okay, this is something I want to do. I'm listening to everything that she's saying. I'm just putting my words together, and I just sat there and wrote until it was all down. And then I started sending it out to friends, sending it out to coworkers, and literally in a week's time, I had the skeleton of what's now my book.
Nice.
So you started out with having a book, writing a book in mind when you were starting to map things out. Was that
I
the
did.
goal? Okay.
That was the goal because I've always wanted to write a book. And when you're recovering, I don't know if you ever had a big surgery, but when you have a surgery and you're gonna be out for more than a month, that's an exceptional amount of time. I'm not getting paid to be at work, so I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not doing any work. And I couldn't do any heavy lifting or anything like that. But I was like, okay, I got a computer here, I got a notebook, I got a pencil, and I literally was just watching her move. And I was like, okay, this is something I've always wanted to do. This is something I've always wanted to do with my niece. Let me put this down. Didn't know how much money it would take. As a regular person, not having any backing, not having published or anything like that, is more money than I thought it would take. But I was just thankful to be able to do it. And I just literally, had to just trust the process because I know people was like, oh, it's hard. You got writer's block. But anything I heard her say, anything I seen her do, I just put it down on paper. Because, with a lot of things, the process is ugly. People wait for things to come out neat. Some things, people want things to be clean. They want it to be just even. And it's like, it's not going to be that way. And I literally had to start just sorting through my own handwriting. I had to sort through her handwriting. I had to sort through things that I was saying and thinking, and then just put it all together. And then it's like, okay, what's a better word for this? And then I didn't have it. So sometimes I had to go to Google. Sometimes I had to ask, my friends and figure it out that way. And then I was like, oh, this is actually turning into something beautiful. And then, talking to a couple people who had published books, and they gave me a few ideas. And, a couple people, kind of hating on the back end a little, trying to deter me a little bit. But I was like, no, we're going to make this happen. Because people are like, oh, well, this has already been done before. And I was just like, I've never seen a book. And of course, I don't know all the books out there. But I was just like, she's Black and Puerto Rican. She has a black belt in Taekwondo. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. We're going to put this out here and see what happens. And, literally the rest is history.
Wonderful. What would you say the purpose of writing a book for? Was it to accomplish a goal, or was it for representation for your niece?
Well, representation for my niece, because I feel like, right now, my niece is 13. When I first started this process with her, she was, younger, had just turned 11 years old. And so just dealing with, preteen, angst, how she felt about herself, her overall perception, her looks. And I'm like, this is something that will be a self-esteem builder, and just trying to get her to understand that, her words matter. Because up until like right now, I'm going to be teaching history this year, but I've always been an ELA teacher. And so I've always wanted, the students to know that you got to write yourself into history. And I wanted my niece to know that she had the power to do that. And your story is something that was worth telling. And, she's always been into like art. She's always been into, telling a story. And I find that so many times with our white counterparts, their parents, their loved ones, they have money and things to leave a legacy. And we don't always have that capital. But I was just like, okay, I do have access to, my literary capital. I have some education. I have access to the internet. We gonna make this happen. And so I told her, I was just like, sometimes when you're not feeling your best, always remember you have a book out here. Your name is on a book. You'll go off to college, and this is something you can put on your college application. You go to high school, and people will be like, oh, you're that girl from that book. And at first she was like, oh, I don't want anything to do with this. And she's kind of embarrassed. And I was like, what are you embarrassed for? I'm like, anybody at your school who has anything to say, they just wish that they had their name on a book. I'm like, this is a real thing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, and this is something to be proud of. And so she's had the opportunity to read to elementary school students, and they were telling her how cool it was. So then when she saw like the adulation and how people were giving her props, it made her feel better. So I just want her to remember that, again, she can do anything that she puts her mind to. This is just, a stepping stone for her.
Can you actually go into? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
Janai, we defer to the lady.
Where can they find your book?
So the book right now, Easiest places to find it are Amazon. So the book is in English and in Spanish. Naija's Beautiful Discovery by Ashley Charleston and Naija Copes.
Ashley, can you type
And
that in, um, and put it in the comments,
got
or
you.
yeah, and then later on tonight, just send it to me again, and I'll post it.
Okay.
You don't have to do it right away. Just take your time. Um, Adrian, you had a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask Ashley, what could you go into the actual process of the publishing?
Oh, she took herself out.
Should be back.
It was a Delta variant.
Oh, sorry about that, y'all.
There she go.
We know the Delta variant just grabbed you for a minute. You all right? You vaccinated, so you good. You
I
vaccinated,
am
so you good.
vaccinated.
You
I
back.
am.
You back. Yeah. That's what
Can you
happened.
actually go into the publishing process and just how the challenges? Because I know some people that
Put that
have
link
written
in there.
books and just don't know that next step or where to go. How did you shop your book once you completed it and get it to its completion part?
So next time I definitely will do it differently. But one thing that helped me was I had a coworker who just finished a book probably 2 weeks before I was ready to publish mine. So they have things like Ingram Spark is what I went through. And because of the pandemic, they were running like a special. So I had a code, a promo code, and I was able to publish the first book for free.
Oh,
And so they published the book for me and they put it on Amazon, they put it on Barnes and Nobles and some little sites that unfortunately I can't name at the moment, but it was a big help. Next time I'm going to go through, somebody independent because I know when you do independent publishing, they can get your books in places like Barnes and Nobles and things like that, and then get you a little bit more money, for your books. Because when you go through places like Ingram Spark, you don't get much bang for your buck.
gotcha. Okay.
We have an accomplished author on the screen with you right now. Our partner, she's put 2 books out there, so
Three.
Okay.
maybe she can give you some insight.
Three.
3, excuse me,
Three.
excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse us.
I fall back.
Right.
Excuse us.
Right. So
3.
I have 2 children's books, and then I have a journal, a 30-day journal that I put out. The children's book process went through the same thing with you. It's for me, it was kind of now it's frustrating because these publishing companies don't pick up African American children authors. And the frustrating thing, I'm an educator as well, is that when you see the issues that go on in the classroom and you want to kind of do like read aloud to kind of give the kids a different experience to see it, the books are not out there. And it's really hard to get your information out there to people and on those different platform levels so you can take it to the next level. So that's just my little spiel on writing children's books. I love it. I enjoy it. I do want to do another one, but it's hard. It's frustrating for me. For me, it was frustrating.
Well, I agree with you too. And I was talking to a woman last week. I found her in one of the Facebook groups. And, she was saying how she has an agent. And, she was like, yeah, I'm able to have an agent because, I have a husband and I have all these businesses and, my husband's income gives me disposable income. And I was just like, well, I am my own husband. So as a result of that, I don't have disposable income. I was like, it sounds nice. But, she was saying all the things she's able to do by having an agent. And I'm just like, maybe one day. But
Right.
when you don't have an agent and you're your own person, it's a lot of work. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in the school system and I'm still teaching and expect to do all these things. So I'm thankful for opportunities like, front porch discussions because it gives me an avenue to get, my book out, my face out,
Right.
Well,
and tell my
please
story.
tell all of Harlem about front porch discussions. Get them to watch it. You don't need to watch the Dipset anymore, so they got us. Please tell all your coworkers, everybody. We're here every week, every
Well, look, I'm
Thursday.
gonna be tuning. Look, I'm gonna be tuning in. I'm gonna be
Every
tuning
week.
in.
Every week. We try to make sure we talk about issues that affects our world, but more specifically affect our community and our culture. So, um, So now that your nieces, you said she started to see that the book was a positive thing. Have you seen a big change in her as a person and growth in her, and as far as some of her fears and not wanting to have the book out, but now she's kind of getting comfortable with it? Has she changed a lot?
Well, she's changed a little bit. I'm praying that as she goes off to high school, it's just crazy. It's like, man, you're really going off to high school this year. But she has changed because I know she's been interviewed by a few people. So just her poise and just the level of respect that she has, for the people interviewing her, and just the enthusiasm I hear in her voice, because my niece can be very monotone. So it's like, oh, you're actually enthusiastic about this. And then I've heard her telling people like, oh, I'm on the cover of a book. I'm in a book. I wrote a book. And I'm like, before she wasn't telling anybody. It's like, oh, now you're telling about the book. I'm in a book. And it's like, girl, is that like, come on. Like, you just throwing it out there, like, be excited about it. And then, just trying to get her to, carry herself in a different way, because, she has some mishaps in school. And I'm just letting her know, like, you're a brand now. You're representing not just yourself, but, you're an author. And we're making a little wave here, in the city of Schenectady. So I'm like, your book is in the library now. You've been on your school website, you've been in the school district website, all of these things. You've been in the Capital District newspaper. I'm like, people might recognize you. This is a big deal.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well,
So working on her and this level of responsibility too, that is improving her level of responsibility.
What you say, Janai?
I said I'm definitely going to order. I teach in a Hispanic population, very high Hispanic population. So a lot of times to do reading louds, we don't have those books available. So I'm definitely going to order English and Spanish.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And again, I would love to come in and I can't do the Spanish reading, I'm not going to lie to you, but I would love to come in and read to the kids in English.
Okay. We'll definitely set that up.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is hook y'all up with each other's contact info.
Yeah.
What you say, E?
Sounds
I was
good.
saying, Joe mentioned it earlier. He was talking about the hot girl summer earlier. He actually referred to hot girl summer. In relationship to your book and working with representation, particularly in this, I guess with the teenage demographic, how important do you think representation is in the face of, let's say, like the City Girls or Megan Thee Stallion?
So I think representation definitely matters. And I feel like, kids, they have to see that there's positive people out here doing the thing. People out here that look like them, who are not, and there's no shade ever to anybody, but who got a little bit of style, who got a little bit of flair, because that's what attracts people. People are attracted to pretty things. People are attracted to shiny things. People are attracted to people who present themselves in a certain way or who are relatable. And so I think that it's important that, kids, of course we're going to always have the city girls, and, I like the city girls. I like Meg Thee Stallion, but got to see that there's another way out here. You got to see that education can also be the way. You got to see that, there's positivity out here, and you got to see that, you got to present yourself in a lot of different ways, depending on the time, depending on what's going on in life. Because teaching middle school, I tell the kids, I'm like, you got to be able to code switch. I'm like, there's times in life where, the city girls, that's acceptable. But when you come in here in the classroom and you got to be able to talk about this lesson material, we're not talking about the city girls. You got to be able to talk about this lesson and present it in a way that is academic. And I'm like, and I tell them, I say, even with somebody like Meg Thee Stallion understands how important education is, because right now she's going to school. And that's what I'm trying to get the kids to understand, because I'm just like, you guys, sometimes when you log into the shade room on TikTok, you're only seeing one part of the story. So, as somebody that is trying to be media literate, someone that is an educator who understands how this thing works, I'm just making sure the kids understand that there's levels to this. and don't let, the media or certain things fool you, having you think that, how they present the city girls right here is the only way, because it's not.
Yeah. So in a way, would you say you're kind of setting up your niece to be an example for other young girls who may read the book about her? So she's like
Yeah,
a
I
city
definitely.
girl or a Megan Stallion?
Well, I want my niece to be a Naija Coach. I want her
Okay.
to be someone that is
I'm just saying, like
unique in
somebody
her.
that's known and admired by others, based on her stuff.
Yeah, my niece is definitely a leader and a role model. She has had a black belt in Taekwondo for years. She's been able to teach some classes, and I want her to know definitely that she is a leader and a role model, and people are looking at her. She's somebody that's poised, and that, with the right, tutelage and just being herself, people are drawn to her. And I just want her to, just know that. Because, sometimes it's easy to get into your own head. It's easy to think that what you're doing is not enough. It's easy to think that, you got to look a certain way, be a certain way. And it's like, no, what you got going on is good enough. Who you are is good enough. And what you bring to the world is good enough. And as, her aunt, even though I'm not her mother, it's like, that's my baby. That's my sister's baby, but that's also my baby. And I just want her to know that, this is beautiful. What you're doing is beautiful, and people will remember you.
Mm.
People will remember you.
You might
She
want to
might can't
send
see
the
that right
age
now,
graphic
but
up.
later on she will. Later on she'll be able to hopefully appreciate what you've done for her and setting her up. Actually, I think that's a remarkable thing that you're doing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like I was saying, you might want to market that to older women too, because they get a lot of injections and implants to try to make themselves appear like a certain model or certain body type, not
Oh
accepting
man,
kind of where they are.
I only talk about it. All the bodies in Atlanta look the same.
They don't look like the flick. I call it the flick. Y'all
They got
remember
to be
the flick from the
they got to
Buzz?
be going to the same doctor. They got
They
to be
got
going
like
to
the
the same
wrist,
doctor.
skinny legs, and then
He's
the
got an
butt is
image, and
like
he's putting that
super
on
big.
everybody, bro. He's putting it on everybody. I think if you take what the Lord has given you, if you something you don't like, a little workout here, a little diet there, a little I'm fine because I'm human
Get
type
your
of
dude to
thing.
get your Peloton.
You get your little Peloton, ride it down 95. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
You said down 90.
because Janai rides bikes, and she rides bikes 20 miles, 50 miles. She wake up in the morning getting that Peloton. She might not get up. It start at 7
Okay,
in the
so
morning. She might ride the Peloton to like 9
Listen,
o'clock at night. Just
listen. That's my thing. That's my vice. So it is what
and
it
I
is.
cheer you on every day.
I'm not gonna knock anybody that wants to do or has had plastic surgery or anything like that, but it's always risk with it. But I just it's not for me. It's not for me.
And I'm glad it's not for you.
No.
well,
I'm
That's what
glad.
my older one did.
one thing that I want to say is self-love is the best love, but we all know the world is hard.
Yes, that's my
The world is hard. Like, I'm at a point, just in my life, like 2020 was hard. I've been through a lot, personally, professionally, in relationships, and just trying to build myself up. And the book came at a good time, because I went through some personal loss, some personal trauma. Since December, I dropped 34 pounds myself.
Oh
You
wow!
know,
Congrats.
working with exercise, working with nutritionists, because I'm like, this is what it's got to be. Because I feel like, in our community, sometimes Black women are not revered the way they should be revered, if they don't look a certain way, if they don't do certain things. And I'm just like, okay, Ashley, this is who you are. And you got to continue to love yourself regardless of what you feel like the world is giving you. And I don't want to be that person that is on tons of medications, because we know what our grandmothers were on, what our mothers were on, taking 5 and 6 pills for blood pressure and that type of thing. I'm like, if I can try to help myself right now at this stage, then, praise God for that. And that's, where I'm at. But it's hard. A lot of times we're trying to attract, a mate, a spouse, and that's why people do the things they do, as far as what their bodies are looking like. And so, like sister said over here, I'm not knocking nobody for plastic surgery, but it's like, I understand sometimes. I understand.
Mm, double edge, double edge. Okay, so a question that doesn't have to do with your book, but has to do with your work as a history teacher. and kind of merging that with something you said earlier about kind of writing your own narrative and your own story. So last week, Joe was talking about critical race theory and
Mm.
how they kind of rewriting history. Are you in your history class going to have your students kind of write their own narrative around history as it relates to that critical race theory?
Well, I want to make sure that my students know as much of the truth as possible. And that's the type of person that I am, because I feel like, unfortunately, you have places, like, in Texas and, trying to tell the kids like the KKK, they were good people. And, Martin Luther King is not who they say, we don't have to teach him as the figure that we know him to be. And I'm going to make sure that my students, know the truth, know about the Black Panthers and are as conscious and as, historically minded as, they need to be as eighth graders. Because it's like, I don't want to tell you what to think, but I want to teach you that you do have the power to think and to be able to think for yourself.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it is. And, it's scary, for, the masses when we have Black and brown people, let alone Black and brown children that are aware and able to think for themselves.
Well, they even with the books that they have, because I was a history teacher too, they have truth embedded in there if you know what you're looking for and if you decipher it. All the books, especially when you talk about world history, right around. But I think they've changed the curriculum now. But it used to be ninth grade, and they start talking about the oldest bones were found in Tanzania, Lucy. Well, then when you go to the map, you look at Tanzania, you see what that is. So that lets you know life itself started in Africa.
Africa. Right.
You
Started
can
right in the
decipher that.
motherland.
Then they start talking about the great migrations and how these migrations happen. And they start talking, well, the people were leaving Africa and going to these places. Then you see in China, all of a sudden, they've got this ironworks and stuff like that. But they show where it originated and how it spread. So, you know, even though they try to hide it and do stuff with it, as a teacher, you can go in there and break that down and really show them, it's not what I said. I didn't write the book. They said that Lucy, the oldest bones of any human, was found here. So we can still debunk that critical race theory mess and still give the kids what they need to have. You know,
Exactly. I agree with you.
yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
So what's next for you, Miss Ashley? What's next as far as authoring and all of that?
Well, my next book, I'm gonna definitely do another one. Trying to get my money together because again, when you independent, it falls on you. Um, just thankful for the ability to be able to even put books out because a lot of things just started as an idea. So that's one. Thankful for the support I have gotten from friends, family. But my next book, I'm gonna put my nephew. He's gonna be my protagonist. He's gonna be starting kindergarten. I think it's gonna have another bug in it because I think that's kind of my wave. And I'm going to put more of my family members in it because this is so funny. My father and my sister, my youngest sister, they kind of felt slighted. They was like, "We didn't make the book," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right, you didn't." So I'm going to put them in the next book. I haven't started working on it yet, but it's just exciting to even get to think about it and just figure out, how I'm going to go about it next. But
cool.
I'm just
Well,
like,
your next
give me a
book
little bit of
could have Joe
time.
in it, and he could be like one of his people he could talk to is like a snake or something, like Michael Jackson.
Don't call me a
Remember the
snake.
old
I'm not a
Jackson
snake.
5
I'm not a snake and I'm not a rat. I can't represent snakes or rats. First, because I don't like them, and then next of all, what we call snakes and rats out here like that. No, I can't be a snake or rat.
Okay.
You can make me a dog. Be a dog.
Well, look.
We'll do that.
That
Do that
ain't
be
no
a
big
dog.
stretch.
Don't make me a cat, because the bros will be on me. I'm not cat. So I will be a dog. You can make me an alligator. I could be a lion.
Mm-hmm.
I could be a bull because I'm Charles the bull. Yeah, but yeah, once they get to the little high school portion, when you start writing your book, you inject me in there. I'll take that. Mike Spivey, what's going on, man?
So why did you choose a B?
Well, a couple things. Because again, it's all about my niece. So one, my niece loves Beyonce. And so couldn't make it Beyonce. So the B's name is Bianca. And then it's like Beyonce's a queen, Bianca's a queen. And female empowerment. So I was like, it's all about female empowerment. And then my niece at the time, she actually had a fear of bees. So I was able to intertwine all of that together, all of that together. So that's the real story. But my niece loves, loves, loves Beyonce.
Who
Yeah.
does your nephew love?
Batman.
Bat. So would he have a bat? Maybe a rat? Rat.
But he's really into Batman and then Spider-Man, but then Batman. Batman's kind of like his new wave. But
He's
yeah,
like a Santa's
Spider-Man.
web type of thing. The spider come and visit him.
Hey, we got Mike Spivey showing up again. Y'all know what he did last show. Mike was, Mr. Meat Grinder and all that other stuff that was going on.
Right.
Mike said he finds it very interesting that cocaine was found in the hair of ancient peoples found in Egypt and the Sudan. Yeah, Mike, that's true too, but I don't think they had their beeper activated. They didn't have no BBSs on them little wagons and stuff that they created.
Yeah. Tell Mike that was somebody else that started to commodify everything.
Yeah, we didn't start pushing that until later on in life.
Yeah, it's different story.
Different era.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they
good.
wait till Dipset got hold of it.
Actually, real quick, you're standing in where you're sitting. Was that on purpose? Because I see you still representing your Aggies up in Schenectady with the colored scheme of the curtains behind you.
Really?
Well, that's hilarious. This definitely was not on purpose, but okay. Everything happens for a reason. I'm at, representing right now. Like I said, I'm up visiting family, and it's a full house. So I was like, I need to make sure that this is as professional as possible, and it's no background noise. So I had to kind of tuck away. So no, this wasn't on purpose, but okay. Always represent blue and gold, though.
I'm kind of torn because I'm sending my baby there next week, so I'm like,
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm an Eagle at heart, though.
My baby is talking about she's looking at that school up in
You
Greensboro.
can't even say it. You can't even say it.
Well, no, I don't even drive on that side of Greensboro.
No, man, shout out to
I
ENT.
wouldn't even drive near the campus.
Largest.
The closest I get to A&T is Bennett, and that's my cutoff. I don't.
Oh my
I
goodness.
will go around not to go over there near them. So, if she goes there, I want her to go to school. I'm a supporter, but I can't give them my money, man.
So you're not gonna send them?
Largest HBCU. They probably got the largest HBCU endowment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got an Aggie sitting right beside me right now, out here on the porch. Yeah.
Okay, Aggie Pride.
He loving that. He loving it.
You got to give the kudos to him, man.
Hey, I give him the props. I just ain't gotta like him.
No, you got to give him the kudos, though.
Come on now.
That's just like family members. Oh, I love them. I just don't like him.
It's that HBCU pride now. Come on, that HBCU pride.
Yeah, we got an HBCU pride. That's the only thing they can get out of me. Outside of that, it's done. I can't. She gonna have to go ahead and go to Winston-Salem State, man.
No, she don't. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I gotta go Winston-Salem State. I can't. Yeah. Well,
I'm had a whole city behind her. She go to Winston.
I'm with that WSSU boy all day. I'll put that all on there.
Right
pride, all of that.
Raquel will be right there to look after
Aggie
her.
Dad shirt. I'm not putting that on.
Stop it.
I'm not putting no Aggie Dad shirt on.
Terrible,
That's just like me liking Richmond County. I don't like Richmond County. My rival in high school. I don't know. Even though, that's why I stole one of their girls and married her. I had to steal one of their girls and marry her. Yeah, that's what I did.
You choosing violence today, brother.
I'm just like Jada. I choose violence.
Choosing violence.
War. This is war.
10 toes down.
Shout out to Jada.
I choose violence.
Jada made it personal.
Yeah, he put his stamp on it too. He put his stamp on it. Yeah, Mike. What Mike say? Medicinal player, medicinal.
Like
Those plants are indigenous on this side. Ancient trade going on. Bro, you are silly. Mike is silly, man. Mike is silly. Y'all have any more questions for Miss Ashley?
No, I just
Anything
want to
else?
wish you the best. I'm definitely going to order
Absolutely.
your book and share it with my colleagues at my school. Definitely, I'm definitely going to.
All right, I appreciate you. Like I said, I'll definitely come in and read. Let me know.
Okay.
Well, I will make sure that you all connect as well. And Ashley, it was wonderful having you up here. Hopefully,
Thank you, Ashley.
you can avoid that variant. I keep
I
talking about
appreciate
that
y'all.
variant because people are being irresponsible. And I would say I was one of them when I was in Florida. I didn't have a mask on and stuff. I was vaccinated, and but I woke up, went to this club on that Saturday night, and it was crazy. It must have been 4,000 people in
Woo.
there. And
Wow.
when I got up the next day, I had convinced myself I had COVID. I feel like my throat is. I had some reckless behavior last night. A few drinks,
Oh,
smoking cigars, no mask, all in the club, 4,000 people. Feeling kind of scratchy. There's something going on with me, So please don't be out here being reckless, y'all. Please do not be out here being reckless.
man.
And so once again, we're gonna celebrate the locks over that dipset as we go out of here. Everybody's watching. Y'all have a good evening. Have a great weekend. Let's keep writing
Come
those
check your dude out
covers.
in Greensboro
Our
on
people.
Saturday night. I'll be down.
We're gonna holler about y'all. All right.
DJ all night Saturday night, Fat Tuesday.
Say what?
DJ all night, Fat Tuesdays.
Fat Tuesdays, Greensboro, near the Aggies. Saturday night, we got NCCU coming to spin and take over and show y'all how the party's done. We know y'all didn't party like we party. They had a lot of parties at A&T, a lot of
Yeah, a
drinking,
lot of them.
but they ain't had that classic stuff like we got. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Mike's still going in talking about dandelion root.
Hey, definitely hit that dandelion root. Get that out the yard, though. Get that out the yard.
Bye, Mike.
Right out of the front yard. If you ain't got it, come over here. My
Yeah.
lawn is horrible. My lawn is horrible. I got everything out there. I might have your mama growing out there. Y'all have a good one, man.
Later.
As if you can't tell, I'm the silly one out of the bunch. I'm the comedic relief.